My name is Pamela Schultz. In the fall 2025 issue of Spin-Off, I wrote an article about why I don't think that knitting machines are cheating. In fact, knitting machines and hand-spun yarn go hand in hand and have a long and surprising history. To go along with the article, I knitted this beautiful hand-spun yoke sweater pattern, partly by hand and partly by machine. The pattern is by Sandi Rosner, and you can find it in the fall issue of Spin-Off. In this video, I'll show you how to transfer hand-knitted stitches from your knitting needles onto a flatbed knitting machine. I'll use a lighter colored yarn so you can see more clearly. I'm going to take my transfer tool and slip it into my stitch just like I would with knitting, slip it off the needle, and make sure it's oriented correctly, just like in hand knitting. Then I'm going to hook it over the knitting machine needle and flip it up so that it drops onto the needle. You can see that this end is my working yarn, and I don't want that loop to get stretched out of shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a weight to it, and this will also keep that yarn out of the way. Just a clothespin is plenty of weight. You just need a little bit of tension on it. So that'll dangle off to the side, and then I'll do it again. Slip, hook, flip, slip, hook, flip, and I'll just do that all the way across. Slip, hook, flip. You may notice as you start transferring stitches onto the knitting machine that the stitches want to kind of jump off the needles. The best way to prevent this is by using a weight. This is called a claw weight, and it's very important in using a knitting machine. So I'll just open it up, hook it into the knitting, and it will hold the piece on those needles. I'll pick up my transfer tool again and slip, hook, flip, slip, hook, flip, slip, hook, flip. I'm just going to do that all the way across. As I need more needles, I will push them forward by hand, or I can use a tool to help me do that. It just goes all the way across. I've gone all the way across and transferred all of my stitches onto the knitting machine, and hopefully you can see how some of these stitches are buckling forward. Some of this buckling over here is due to some cabling work that I did by hand, but this buckling over here is happening because these stitches are not weighted properly. So you can see as I tug down, they're really hanging off those needles, but as I let go, they're almost jumping up. And this presents some problems because as I start to run the carriage across the knitting, these might hop off the needles, which would cause dropped stitches, or it could cause the carriage to jam. So that is really the main reason why we're going to use the weights, is to just keep everything running smoothly. I do have some larger weights that I can use, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to put in this weight, and I'm going to make sure it's weighted evenly all the way across, about level, although you'd be surprised how much you can get away with here. And then if I want more weight, I can hang this claw weight that I used earlier into that bigger weight, and that will spread some more weight across the whole piece. Now it's time to thread the machine and start knitting.